everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. I just picked this piece of fabric up from the thrift store. I think it's about 1.5 yards, and it's a heavier cotton, a little bit heavier than like a quilting cotton. I think it's more of like a decorator print. It looks old and the colors are just wonderful. I don't know the age of it, but it has a bark cloth vibe to me. So I want to create something with this. I think I'm going to do a pillow top and do a different technique on the top. So I'm going to cut the pieces that I need and I'll be right back. I've got a piece cut 16 by 12, and I also have a backing. I cut a backing of that same size. And then I also cut 3 other pieces of fabric that somewhat coordinates with them. I wish I had another piece of olive green, but my green selection is really low right now. But I did find this brown that I thought would work as well. And then I did cut a piece of warm and natural batting for the back of it. And what I plan on doing is I'm going to free motion stitch through all the layers, all the way around all of these little pieces. And then I'm going to cut pieces exposing those bottom layers. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to free motion stitch around these first of all. I have my free motion foot on and my feed dogs are dropped, so I'm going to be doing all the moving on this. Just getting my thread snipped there. I'm going to be going around these shapes and then connecting the shapes with stitches as well. I'm not going to be stopping or breaking my thread at all. You can see I just scooted over there, and now I'm going to be going around this oval, just creating sections in my fabric. Now this technique is not new at all. It's similar to like a reverse applique, but it's a great way just to do something different with a piece of fabric. And here it is. I've got all my sections stitched off. And you can really see it on the back side. And now it's on to the cutting, and I'm using my 5-inch Fisker scissors here. It's got a really pointed edge. You just have to be careful that you're just going through the layer that you want to go through, and also not to clip over the stitching at all. I am just cutting those shapes away within the stitching line. I'm choosing my next piece here. This one I am taking that top layer off, and then I'm going to cut off one more layer, exposing that fabric underneath. The trickiest part on this is just to get that needle or that scissor in there in the right spot, and then once it's in there, then it's easy to cut. I'm going to do one more here, exposing that very bottom layer. And the rest of this I'm going to do off camera. I'm just going to put in a good movie or maybe watch TV tonight with my husband and cut the rest of these little sections. And now I'm back and I've got everything cut, and I noticed that these little shapes look like milk bones that I used to feed my dog, and I don't know if I really like it or not. And so I'm going to trim some of them down, just going around, just basically trimming about 1/4 of an inch or so away from it. And I'm going to be laying these back on my pillow top. I'm just in just different areas. And then I'll take this to my sewing machine once again, and I'm going to free motion stitch these pieces on. It's funny, I didn't even notice the shape until I got everything cut out and had these all laying on my table going, oh my goodness, these look like milk bones. just taking a dab of white school glue on the back of these just to keep them in place when I'm at my sewing machine. I will let this glue dry completely. You can also iron over the top, and that really dries it quickly. And then I don't have any problems with my sewing machine gumming up. I did wash it, so it's stitched and washed, and look at the cool texture. I absolutely just love the, that scrunched look. You can tell it did shrink a little. None of these fabrics were pre-washed, and I did that on purpose because I wanted that textured look. The fraying is just wonderful, and the back is cut the same dimension that the front was, and you can see it has shrunk about an inch on the width and the length. So keep that in mind. In this particular project, I really wanted the shrinkage, so I did not pre-wash. I just pinning my top to my back, and I'm putting little marks there with my water-soluble pen just to where I want that opening. My opening's about 7 inches, and I'm going to be stitching all the way around, taking about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I did make a back and forth motion on that opening just to secure that stitch. Just reverse my stitches. And it's on to turning this thing right side out. I do have like a little pokey tool that I'm going to be sticking in there just to get those corners poked out. This is probably the hardest part of turning a pillow, is just making sure those corners are out. And then I'm going to be taking my iron, and I will press down that opening. And then rolling my seams, just rolling them out and then ironing those down nice and flat. And now I'll be taking this and I will be stuffing this with my fiber fill. And this is the fiber fill I'm using. I just picked it up at Hobby Lobby or any craft store. And I just close my pillow using my zipper foot. And I'll link that video down below on how I finish off my pillows. It makes a real easy way to do it. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. It really is a fun technique to give some texture to a pillow. And this fabric was just perfect for it. Thanks, everybody who's joined me. Have a creative week. Bye for now.